Welcome to another episode of the NBA Empire Show. I'm your host Landon King, and today I'm going to be talking about what should be done with this year's third pick. Now, once again, the Cleveland Cavaliers had incredible lottery luck, which got them another top 3 pick. Now, there are 3 scenarios, one of them being really interesting. I'm going to be talking about what the Cavs should do. The first scenario is that the Rockets take Jalen Green, so Evan Mobley falls to the Cavs. In this case, I think the Cavs would not move their pick. I think that the Cavs would take Evan Mobley and figure out what to do with Jarrett Allen, whether that be a sign and trade or just letting him walk altogether. Now, the second scenario, let's say the Rockets do take Mobley, but the Cavs want to keep the pick, and that gives the Cavs 3 options: Suggs, Green, or Kuminga. Kuminga, by all accounts, is the 5th pick. If he goes 3rd or 4th, that would be incredibly shocking. I don't think that's gonna happen. So really, it's just Suggs or Green, which creates a problem for the Cavs because they already have 2 undersized scoring guards in Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. So Jalen Green would have to move over to the small forward, but Isaac Okoro is there. So either they have Jalen Green coming off the bench, or they move on from Sexton or Garland, which I don't think the Cavs are willing to do since Sexton and Garland had such a good season last year. Now, the one thing that the Cavs do need is a facilitator. Suggs could be that, but again, he's an undersized point guard just like Garland and Sexton, so that really limits what they can do in terms of the fluidity of their roster. If they have 3 starting caliber guards, one of them is going to have to either be moved or forced to the bench, which is not good for any of these guys because they're still young, they're still developing, and fighting for minutes alongside another prospect is not ideal.
Wearing blue, Ignite wearing white. Kuminga with the early steal, and he'll push the other way.
Now, the third scenario, and the one that I think is the most likely, is that the Cavs move the pick. There have already been rumors of the Cavs looking to trade down, and there are 3 teams which I think are the best suited for that. The Thunder have 3 first-round picks this year, and the Cavs could just go straight for quantity over quality of the picks. They could select somebody like Scotty Barnes at 6th, which would help them on the wing. They have a mid-first round and then a late first round that the Cavs could use as another trade piece or just to add some depth to their roster.
Solid start for the Thunder out of the gate. Beverly, and a flat shot drops in.
And the second team, which I think is the one that's least likely, is the Warriors. The Warriors have the 14th pick and the 7th pick from the Timberwolves, which can create some really interesting scenarios that I'll probably talk about in a later video, but I'm just going to get into this one specific scenario with the Cavs. The Cavs could potentially seek both of those picks, and the Warriors, I think, would be for it because they're trying to set up their core for the future. They already have James Wiseman, whether you think they should trade him or not, and they already have young guys that could develop into something nice like Nico Mannion. I think that a top 3 pick from this year's draft would help the Warriors accomplish that, and I think that the Cavs would get what they're really looking for from the 7th and 14th pick.
Working against none. Lets the 3 go. Scores it! Steph!
Now on to the one that I think is the most likely, which is the Orlando Magic. The Magic have the 5th and the 8th pick, and it's been confirmed by multiple accounts they will be very aggressive trying to move up into the top 3. The Cavs could get a package of the 5th pick, the 8th pick, who knows, maybe Chicago's 2023 pick or Denver's 2025 pick, along with a player like Chuma Okeke, Gary Harris, or Terrence Ross. Maybe even Fultz or Isaac, depending on how desperate the Magic are. I don't think that's really likely, seeming how they just signed Fultz and Isaac to extensions. That'll wrap up today's video. If you have a different opinion on what the Cavs should do with the 3rd pick, leave it in the comments, like and subscribe. This has been the NBA Empire Show.